All right, guys, we are here today. We got PPI inflation data going live at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'll put a timer up here. A lot of people saying it's going to be a massacre. We'll see what happens. I'm not sold on that yet. I'll put a timer up. But again, I do think that, today mixed with tomorrow, mixed with earnings season, could bring some volatility on the downside potentially. I'm not saying it will, but I think it could. We got about an hour and 20. We got about an hour and a half left. And yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Nvidia up a little bit. Tesla up some too here. Look at that. We also have like Apple. Apple at 235s. APLD. So the last report that came in hot was non-farm payrolls. You can see that at the top of the screen, as well as like the inflation expectations. Again, you can kind of see that at the top of the screen. That came out hot on Friday, right? Today is the first part of the inflation report that we get this week. Usually it's CPI inflation first. So like usually it's CPI inflation first, but for whatever reason, we're getting PPI first today, and then CPI tomorrow, and then retail sales on Thursday. So, I got my super bad bug. We're ready today. Drinking my coffee. Yeah. All right, guys. So, yep. Oh, it is cold on my end over here, dude. It really is cold. Like I've got like multiple layers. I've got a sweater on. I'm putting my hat on because it's kind of cold without it. I've got a blanket on my feet and on my bottom half, and I'm still cold here. Yeah, I'll put the numbers, the expected numbers up here somewhere. Here, I got a top scroller too. Hold on. PPI is expected at, let's see what we're expected at today. I think it's expected at 0.3%, right? I think it's expected at 0.3%. We also had consumer inflation expectations, but I don't think they dropped. Let me see. I think it's 0.3%. I'm not 100% sure. Inflation expectations did drop. They showed up at 3% as expected. Today we got PPI inflation data. It's expected at 0.4%. Core is expected at 0.2% month to month. Year over year is expected at 3.4% and 3.7% for core. But that's the least important one. Yeah, I'm gonna put this up. I'm looking at it. I might need to do like some type of banner background here for this one. Let's see. I can give it a background. Hold on. Is that better? Like, just make it a black background so it kind of blends in. You know. There we go. All right. Hey, what's up, Jeffrey? Why the bullish action yesterday? Did it leak? No, I think, I don't know. Number one, I really don't know why we got bullish action. What I think is probably the outcome is that I think it's mostly just kind of a rebound from all the bearish action. I think we got some news early this morning that they might be selling TikTok to Elon Musk. Yeah, the news that we got this morning, we got a couple releases here. One of them is that China is considering selling TikTok to incoming the ally of the president-elect Elon Musk to avert a potential ban, according to Bloomberg. Bloomberg reported this. The decision seems strategic as the date for the Supreme Court's hearing appeal to stop the ban draws near. The law putting the ban on TikTok in the U.S. takes effect January 19th. So that's in 5 days. And so with that, it looks like they're expecting to, or they're thinking about selling it to Elon Musk, which would be interesting, I think, as well. 0.4 is good for the US dollar, right? 0.4 is good for the US dollar, right? I mean, higher is better for the dollar specifically. Lower is better for the consumers and us, like everybody else. So the dollar is going to go up with higher inflation, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. Lower is typically better for... Lower is better in general. Like, generally, lower is better. It means lower prices, lower inflation, which is something the market certainly fears right now. If we look at how the market reacted to like payroll numbers, right? The market fears inflation. And so today's PPI inflation report is important because the market fears it. And if we come in high, market might fall. Today's the second important one. The first is CPI tomorrow. Tomorrow's report's bigger than today. Although today's important nonetheless. It's just not as big as tomorrow. Hey, what's up, Pawn? All right, so the current president signed an executive order to accelerate the building of next-gen AI infrastructure. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, tying shoes is tough, dude. Like, my son's 11 now, and he knows how to tie his shoes, but he doesn't like doing it. And like, the reason if I tie his shoes, I can like tie them really tight and double knot them and tie them quick. And so if he ties them, he's kind of like slow and like it takes him a while. And so he knows how to tie them well. Like, we made him tie his shoes enough to where he knows, but he doesn't like to do it because we do it so much faster than he does. Morning, John. Lower highs, lower lows. What is the conclusion on this actual pattern? Well, lower highs and lows just means a downtrend, right? I mean, it depends on what we're looking at here, but lower highs and lows just means a downtrend. And again, like, we could still like say that we're in this trend. I don't know though, you know. We're starting to get a little weak here, but you know, yesterday's rebound was good and kind of necessary in a lot of stuff. So like yesterday we rebounded some, you know, ran up a lot. So I don't know where we're heading. Again, I tell you guys this all the time. I have no freaking idea. Nobody really does. I think I've been very hesitant to buy up anything. And so, like, I've been really hesitant to buy up anything, and I think we could correct sometime this year or next. I just don't know when, and I'm just kind of leaving stuff alone because of that. Like, I'm holding some things. I'll probably stay in the things I'm holding, but it's pretty small positions. Yeah. But my son had his birthday party. It went well. He had a bunch of friends there, and that's always good, you know. All right, guys. Yeah, so I'm green on my stock portfolio today. We're green on Target, Pepsi, Nike, Netflix, Coca-Cola. Actually, we're red on Coca-Cola today. Green on Bitcoin, green on Alibaba, green on Amazon, which we've been green on this whole time, and green on AMD today. That's my portfolio right now. Like, this is my swing trading / investment portfolio. We're down on it, but we're probably going to hold most of these long term anyway. And we're also holding some other stuff, like some indices. Like, we hold a variety of different things, to be honest. Hey, thank you, CR. Hey, thanks for the $2 donation, brother. What so you think if PPI is high? You know, PPI is one of those ones where the pattern is not as clean and easy to gauge. And like, what I mean by that is that PPI is one of those metrics in which, like, CPI in general, right? Lower is almost always better for CPI, right? Like, we want lower inflation, regardless of what's going on in the economy, regardless of anything else. Like, we want lower inflation usually, and the market tends to react positively to lower inflation with specifically CPI inflation data. PPI is kind of the other side of the inflation coin, but it does not have that type of consistent reaction and sentiment to it, right? And so what I mean by that is sometimes we see PPI come in higher than expected and the market goes up. Sometimes we see PPI come in lower than expected and the market goes up, right? Like, there's a lot of nuance behind PPI because it's business inflation. So it has to do with like manufacturing and sales and like inventory is what it influences as well, right? Which can have good and bad effects to inflation. So it's a little bit more nuanced, and the reaction that we get is a little bit less predictable to me, right? So the reaction we get is a little bit less predictable for this type of stuff, but it's still important to pay attention to, and it still has a pretty big reaction regardless of whether it's predictable or not. So yeah, I mean, hey, no, I appreciate the donation. Thank you, man. All right. All right, guys. So, and again, the big news is that Elon might buy TikTok, which is interesting. Interesting news, I think. the sound down because I thought it was a little bit too loud, but I think it turned everything down, so I gotta just keep it high. Let me know if that's too loud for the music in the background. Is it gonna be X talk now? Maybe. Sounds fine. Okay, good. Top of the morning. What's up, Joker? I have $2. I have a $2 put option on QSI. Expiration is this week. What's your view? Quantum stock. I don't know much about it. You seem to be right around in the money. Maybe it bounces, but you know, if it expires this week, it depends on when, I guess, and if it starts to bounce. I mean, it has kind of like a backwards triangle trend where it's getting larger and larger in range as time goes on. So I really don't know there. Yeah, it's interesting for sure. All right, guys. Oh my gosh, it's the song again, dude. Y'all are lucky I catch this song early. I don't know what. I gotta delete this song. There's no way to delete it, dude. Here, look. I'll let you guys listen to it. Listen to this song. Sounds like an elf's acid trip or something like that. I don't even know how to describe that thing, man. Like Elf on the Shelf, like found its way into some mushrooms, and then like I don't even know. I don't even know how to describe this, you know. Yeah. Sigma. Maybe, man, maybe. What do you expect for CPI? I think it's gonna be bullish. I don't know. I really don't. Maybe it's bullish. You know, I think it's interesting because tomorrow we have big earnings, right? So I think today we might as well. Let me see. No, today we don't have any earnings. We got Applied Digital after the bell. I think I saw a couple people mention that one. But tomorrow is when like earnings season kind of effectively starts. Because tomorrow we have JP Morgan, Citigroup, BlackRock, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, Bank of New York, and more earnings. So not bad. You know, when I first created this channel, right? When I first created this channel, what I did was I made a bunch of terrible YouTube videos. And I was young, right? Like, I was young. And I ended up opening up a chat room, like my own chat room. This is before YouTube had chat, right? And I would invite people there and people would join. And I kind of grew it to where it had like a couple hundred people in this chat room. It was free, right? So people would just join. I'm looking back. Somehow I found the link to one of them now. It's interesting. It's so bad, but it's good, right? It's so bad, but it's good. The old way. NASDAQ dropping. Yeah, I see NVIDIA falling down. NVIDIA's down to 135. That's probably why the NASDAQ's dropping. I'm looking at the SPY as well. SPY's down to 582.50s here. So we are starting to see some like dips. We are starting to see some dips. Yeah, we had a couple people. I remember one of them was like, I think his name was Rick. And then we had Chi. We had Rick. And then we had this, I want to say he was an Irish guy named Chi. C-H-I. And then we had We had a couple different people here, and they were like my trading friends, you know. I don't know what happened. But then the channel just ended up growing faster and faster, and like I slowly kind of turned it into a business. But yeah. Hey, what's up, Walker? Yeah. So here's Apple. SoFi. SoFi is on a downtrend with the rest of the market. It looks like it was almost up to 1750, but it ended up dipping down, never really held. Still a pretty strong, I mean, generally speaking, you know, after you get big runs, you almost always get pullbacks here. So it's not a shock to see this, right? But we'll see if it holds. The question is, does it bounce now after it dips? I really don't know. Yeah, go Tigers. Yeah, but I'm talking about way before that too, high volume. So I'm talking about way before that too. So before I even started live streaming, right? Like way before them even. I don't know if they were doing stuff, but like this was like 2015, you know, 2016, like almost a decade ago. Like I had my own group of trading buddies, and I had a couple videos out. This must have been like 2017, actually. First stock I ever bought was, I feel like it was like Roku, or it might have been like a Tesla short or something like that. Tesla had recently IPO'd at this point in time and like gone crazy. No, it was actually a little bit before. I think it was like 2016. But I remember Dry Ships, DRYS, had like pumped up a huge amount and short squeezed and gone up to over 100 and then come back down a little bit. Yeah. All right, guys, we still got over an hour. We got over 400 people watching already. So hey, I appreciate it. No, I've never watched that. I watched Dragon Ball Z. I watched Dragon Ball Z. I watched a little bit of like. What did I watch? I watched a couple different, mostly Dragon Ball Z, a little bit of Pokemon when I was younger, you know, but yeah. Why we sell off all of the pre-market gains? I wouldn't really say I mean, maybe we sold off some of these pre-market gains, but markets aren't going to go straight up, man. Like, this is one of the most common questions I see here, which is like, we go up and then we dip, and they're like, why did we dip? Well, most of the time it's profit taking from the, like, we're up big, so people start taking profit. It's human nature. You know, that happens a lot. Tesla's falling down. See if there's any news. Yeah, it might be jitters. I don't know. Do you still hold any of your first few stock purchases? No. I started trading stocks on a platform that's no longer around anymore called SureTrader. It's a Guy Gentile's company. And they gave you crazy leverage, would let you trade to get around the PDT rule. I'm pretty sure eventually the SEC came for them, but yeah, that's where I bought my first stock. Yeah, Dry Ships was crazy. It was like my first introduction to crazy short squeezes. Like, Dry Ships was one of the original short squeezes, right? So Dry Ships ended up going from like $2 to 100 plus, and then back down to $2 in like 48 hours. I remember watching that and you know, being kind of like shocked by it. Market went up because the sellers took a break until. No, I don't know, man. I think it's too early to say we're in a bear market. I think we're extended on the upside, but sometimes that doesn't matter. And again, I really don't know what we're going to do. I think people try to be right too much, and they get really stubborn with their predictions, when really you're supposed to be fluid with them, right? Like in the market, numbers can change, data can change, anything can change, right? So like really you're supposed to be fluid with your predictions And the issue was like people want credibility, so they put out all these predictions in markets, and they end up just kind of like, instead of being fluid and changing with the incoming data or sentiment or whatever, they end up just like sticking to it and then getting mad when it doesn't happen. When really you gotta just be fluid with it. You gotta just be okay with being wrong. Understand that nobody freaking knows anyway, except for the top people in the world. So. Yeah, and then the inauguration's coming up. You know, it's an interesting time because we have earnings season, we've got inflation data, right? And then we've got the Fed decision at the end of this month. At the end of this month, we've got Tesla, Meta, Microsoft, IBM earnings same day, and then we've got the rate decision a couple hours before that. That's going to be the biggest like volatile day in markets this month for sure. And it might be a day in which we get like movement. Like we might get some movement that day. So I would just be careful because that's a day that could certainly influence things. And that's the day I'm specifically looking at, you know. All right, guys. Yeah, Bitcoin almost to 100K today. I think it's possible too. Again, this is the first stage of inflation data, chat. So this is the first stage of inflation data. So we have PPI inflation data today, and then we got CPI inflation, which is the bigger release tomorrow, right? The CPI report is tomorrow. That's the biggest release this week. We also have earnings, right? We got JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citigroup earnings tomorrow morning as well. So tomorrow is going to be a huge day for markets. We got big bank earnings, the start of earnings season, as well as CPI inflation data. But today's big too, man. Today's not nothing. Like we got a bunch of data today as well. A big data release also. And so, yeah, just be ready because this is not a small release today. We got an hour or so until this report comes out. Almost exactly an hour right now. Yeah, so again, you can kind of see PPI expected numbers at the very top. It's expected at 0.4% and releases live here at 8:30. So yeah, it's expected at 0.4%. Year over year, it's expected at 3.4%. Core PPI expected at 0.2%. And remember, core PPI excludes food and energy, which are the most volatile price swings that we get as food and energy prices, right? But again, core PPI expected at 0.2% versus 0.2% expected. Regular PPI expected at 0.4%. Last time they showed up at 0.4%. So they're really expecting PPI to be flat month to month. Last month, PPI month over month came in at 0.4. Core PPI came in at 0.2. And those are both the expectations today as well. But yeah, this is a big report. And then we got like Williams speaking later on today. But tomorrow's the big day. Tomorrow we got CPI inflation data, which is the big day. We got bank earnings. We got New York State Empire Manufacturing Index. We got more Fed speakers. And so, yeah. And then Thursday, we got jobless claims, retail sales. Friday, we got housing starts, housing data too. So we just got a whole bunch of stuff coming out. NASDAQ sinking, any news? Yeah, so we'll do a poll. Are you bullish or bearish on today's PPI inflation is what we're going to do the poll. Yeah, so we'll do the poll. We should have... Yeah, let's see if it'll let me do this. Yeah. Are you bull or bear on these? We got our bear emoji up here too. All right, so there's the poll live. Are you bullish or bearish on today's PPI inflation data? The top one's the bull, the bottom one's the bear. Look at that pawn sending me some stuff. So large cap stocks may not be worth buying for a decade, according to Stephen John Kaplan. He says the signs of a bubble are not just in tech. He says most discussion of whether there's a market bubble is entered around the technology sectors, but investors may want to look further. In our call of the day, he warns those bigger U.S. companies may not be worth buying for a decade. I don't know about a decade, right? I think that's a bold prediction, as they say. But I think it depends, right? Like, I think, okay, so a decade's a long time, you know, and you got to understand it like this, right? Like, you got to understand it where, here, let me show you guys. The easiest way is just to show you the charts. Okay, so here's the SPY. All right, we put a long-term chart on the SPY up. We look all the way back here. Is this long-term on the SPY? Let's put the S&P up. S&P is the easier way, right? We look at the S&P. It's supposed to be max time. Yeah, there we go. So we look at the S&P 500 here, and we look at the max time, and we look all the way back until 2000, right? So the last big technology revolution, it was the last big one, right? We've had a couple tech revolutions since then, but the last like big one was the late 90s from the internet, right? The internet started taking off. You can kind of see this huge run here where we did crazy numbers. We went up almost, 300% up here. And so it was one of the big technology revolutions that we've seen in the last 50 years from the internet, right? It's from the internet. The internet came out. People got really excited about it. They started selling things on it. Companies would IPO with .com at the end of it and get billions in valuations and funding. And it was like a crazy bull market from technology, very similar to the AI bull market that we've seen over the last 3 or 4 years now, right? And this was called the .com boom is what it was called. After that, in 2000, the bubble burst, right? And we had one of the longer bear markets that we've seen. Very rarely does the market downtrend for longer than a year. In fact, there's only been 2 or 3 times in history of the stock market in which we've bear trended for longer than a year or 2, right? Only 3 times in history, and this was one of those times we downtrended for 3 years. One of the only times in history, right? One of the only times in history was about 25 years ago in the .com crash, right? But you can kind of see, like, we did the .com crash, we bear market for a few years, and then we started to come back, right? And as we got close, the mortgage disaster happened and boom, pushed us back down, right? Under the previous levels, right? So, but this was one of the rare instances where we downtrended for over 10 years. Some would say we're downtrended. We still kind of broke highs again here, so I think that kind of cancels it. But a lot of people consider this like a decade-long like bear market or weak market. But I think that's a little bit misleading because it's not like all this was not caused by this here, right? Like this was caused by 2 different economic and market bear events that happened within a 10-year period. Right. And so I think it's a little bit misplaced betting that stocks are going to downtrend for 10 years. I think that's kind of an out there prediction, right? Maybe he's right. Anything could freaking happen. But I think it's kind of an out there prediction, right? I think it's much more likely that, like, if we do downtrend, we downtrend for a year or 2, and then we start to come back, and then everything's back to business as usual, unless we get some, like, black swan event like we did in 2008. But my point is, this big long downtrend was not just from the .com crash. It was from 2 different ones, the .com crash and the mortgage disaster of 2008 that happened within a 10-year period to each other, if that all makes sense, right? But again, so that's what I'm saying. Betting that we're going to downtrend for 10 plus years and all this stuff. I mean, it's happened before that in history. Specifically, if you look at it, it happened like, I think in like the 40s. We had one, but that was from like war and all kind of stuff. Like it's just a different time, And you might say, oh, well, we're kind of like our, overseas policy isn't great right now either. And there's conflicts, but they're not the same type of conflicts that we had back then. This was a world war, right? So we downtrended. Yeah, let's see. I mean, I don't know, actually. The SPY, like, it took us a couple decades to get back from 1929. But since then, we haven't really had something like that. So, I don't know. Anyways, I don't even know if a bear market's necessarily guaranteed right now, but eventually it'll happen. We'll see when it does. Markets are green today, though, so we'll see if that holds. Nvidia pulling back a little bit, but bouncing back up some. SoFi, somebody asked me about this earlier. Yeah, I don't know what it's going to do. Yeah, like a decade seems out there. I think he's just trying to get views, most likely, right? Like, my point in this is, like, even the .com crash, like, we downtrended for a few years in the .com crash. Like, there's only been 3 times in history that we've downtrended for longer than, I think it's either a year or 2. It might be 1, but I think it's 2 years. Let me see. Yeah, so multiple consecutive years of declines. So yeah, there's only been 2 or 3 times in history where we've downtrended for longer than 2 years. The Great Depression. So there's been 4 times. Let me correct myself. And so I guess my point in this, right, and this is something that comes out, this is something that I talked about. If you've been watching the stream long enough, you've probably heard me say this. Okay, so what does this mean? There's only been a couple times in history in which we've downtrended longer than a few years. What it means is, like, the last time we had this big bear market in after 2020 and like 2021, right? Let me show you guys. The last time we had this, here's an example, is when we had this right here, right? When we had this right here where we had downtrended for over a year, people told me that it was going to be the end of the world scenario. People told me that, like, people made fun of me for buying literally right here. People made fun of me for buying. Right? And what I would spit back at them every time they made fun of me was this statistic. There's only been a couple times in history where we've downtrended for longer than a few years. And so if we're downtrending for a year plus, I'm probably going to start buying stuff. I might not buy super aggressively, but I'm going to DCA into stuff. I'm going to start DCAing into stuff. And if we do keep dropping and I get unlucky, I'm just going to keep on adding to it, because that's a pretty safe bet, right? That's a pretty safe bet. You know, it could always go sour, it could always go sideways, but that's a pretty, like, statistically good bet, I would say, based off of the history of the market. And so if we do start to downtrend in bear market, I'm just going to start buying it. You know, I'm not one of those guys that's going to try to top pick the market and short the healthiest companies in the world trying to look cool. I'm just going to buy it up after we dip for a while. The next admin won't let us downtrend in the next 2 to 3 years. Well, it's not that easy to control. You know, it's not that easy to control. We've already had the election year run, and so I don't know. I think we could get some volatility, of course, from the inauguration, but I don't know. And again, I'm not saying I agree or disagree with any politician. I'm very neutral on all of that stuff. Let's see if Bitcoin can break 100K, though. Like, I'm ready for Bitcoin to move. We're going to cover PPI literally as soon as it comes out. The reason we'll get thousands of people here today, but not just today, but in general, we get thousands tuning in for these big economic events. The reason we do is because we cover it as soon as it comes out. Literally, as soon as it comes out, we cover it. So yeah, you can just watch it here. We got a timer in the left corner. I mean, I'm not saying I agree with everything he says, because that's certainly not true. Hey, thank you for getting me over 100 likes, guys. I'm not certainly saying that. But a weak dollar can be beneficial, right? If we look at the Dixie here, the Dixie going down is kind of a good thing, right? The Dixie goes down as inflation gets a little bit more under control, you know? So like, and again, what did we see the dollar doing recently? We see the dollar spiking, which signals higher inflation problems. So here's the Dixie on the right side. Look at the spike that we've seen in it. You know, the dollar has been basically spiking since September, late end of September, October. So inflation has been a worry since then, since the Fed started cutting interest rates, is what this is, right? The Fed started cutting interest rates at the end of September. Maybe it was somewhere around then. And so we've seen rises in the dollar since then, but inflation's a fear now. If you don't think inflation's a fear, you can see how the market reacted to payrolls on Friday last week. Inflation expectations were raised. Like if you look at the very top of the screen in yellow, you can kind of see 256K versus 160 expected. 1 year inflation expectations rose to 3.3% versus 2.8% originally expected for inflation expectations by the University of Michigan. 5 year rose to 3.3% versus 3% expected. So yeah, inflation's a fear right now for sure. And again, that's the Dixie going up just kind of signals that as well. Well, he's not actually a president right now, though, 8. So my point is, like, he has no power right now. He's not controlling anything right now, brother. He's not inaugurated yet, dude. He doesn't get inaugurated until the 20th. So right now, you know, it's still the other guy. I try not to even mention names because I try not to be political. But, and again, I certainly don't like or agree with everything that the president-elect does, for sure, you know. But I also don't think we can blame him for inflation yet either, because he hasn't taken office yet. Yeah, he's moving markets for sure, you know. But, you know, the real reason inflation's a worry now has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with payroll numbers showing up at 256,000, right? That's why people fear inflation. The JOLTS report also showed up higher than expected as well, which isn't a bad thing, right? It signals economic growth. And so, like, more people working means a stronger labor market. And so I don't think we can criticize that even, the current president for that, because it shows signs of a strong labor market, right? But the consequence of all that stuff is inflation. And so, who's blaming? Well, you said inflation was going down. It wasn't a fear until his presidency. And so, you know, I don't know. I'm not saying you're blaming. I'm not against you, brother. I'm not saying I like or dislike anybody. I'm very neutral. What I'm saying is that, like, right now, he's not a factor yet. He's a factor in terms of sentiment of markets, but with inflation, you know, inflation's feared because of payroll numbers and JOLTS showing up high. That's all it is. United Rentals is going to acquire H&E in a $3.4 billion deal. United Rentals has agreed to acquire H&E Equipment Services for $92 a share, which would more than double the smaller rental company's market cap to $3.4 billion almost. So, interesting news there. Yeah, all good, man. All good. Yeah, no, the market certainly reacts, but the market reacts regardless of it. That doesn't really influence inflation in that way, right? What influences inflation fears is payroll data and jobs showing up high, right? Like the more people working and spending, the more prices tend to rise. And so that's what the fear is right now. We also had some updated expectations for inflation on Friday from the University of Michigan. Again, they're both showing 1 year and 3 year showing up at 3.3%. That's higher than it is now. That means they think inflation is going to rise this year. Probably has to do with the payroll and JOLTS reports showing up high, but, you know, that means the Fed is less likely to be aggressive in their rate cuts and bringing interest rates down, and they're more likely to take a hawkish, restrictive approach, which is kind of what the market fears, I think, right now. Inflation is government overspending? Maybe. I think some of the inflation we got over the past 5 years is certainly from the quantitative easing printing that we did after to save us from the 2020, you know, economy. But I don't think that's the blame for it right now. The blame for it now is just high payrolls, jolts showing up high, like more jobs, strong labor market, like resiliently strong labor market. But again, it's arguable for sure. The dot-com bubble lasted almost 4 straight years. Well, it depends on whether you say in the bubble or the bubble bursting, sir. Again, the dot-com crash was one of the longer bear markets that we've seen. If you look at it here, I'll put it back up. All right, here's the dot-com crash. We downtrended basically from August of 2000 all the way down to, February of 2003. So it lasted, it lasted a little bit less than 3 years, like 2.5 years. And then since then, we started rebounding, right around the beginning of 2003. And then we kind of bounced all the way back up to and broke highs for a second on the SPY. But then the 2007, 2008 mortgage disaster hit and just kind of pushed us back down is what happened. And it's not an attack on AI. Like, I think AI is an incredibly useful thing. I think it's the future of technology, and I think that's very self-evident. But the internet was the next big boom in technology too, and we still had a super long bear market from it. Isn't the strong labor market due to gov jobs, not the private sector? Well, I mean, you got to think about it like this, right? So if we look at the payroll data that we got last week on Friday, right? If we take a look at this here, came out on the 10th. It shows you government payrolls, right? Government payrolls showed up slightly higher than expected for December, but not like crazy high. Private payrolls are the ones that showed up way higher than expected. So that I disagree. Private payroll showed up at 223,000 versus 130,000 expected. So private payroll showed up almost double than what was expected versus government payrolls, which only showed up, about 3,000 more than last time. They showed up at 30K. This time they showed up at 33K. This is mostly due to private payrolls. If we look at the JOLTS report, which came out on Tuesday of that week. The JOLTS report, I'll have to look into the data. Number one, non-farm payrolls and unemployment is a larger release than JOLTS. But in the payroll report, private payrolls were way bigger than, way more than expected than government payroll specifically. Yeah, so Australia's Macquarie is going to invest up to $5 billion in APLD data centers, right? And APLD actually has earnings today. So APLD has earnings. They're at 9.11s right now. $9 or so. They're right above $9. He's talking overall, not that one report, though. Well, I mean, he can be, right? And that's good and all. But what I'm saying is that on that last report, which is what sparked a lot of this big bear action that we got over the past, couple days, we had a huge negative reaction to payrolls. If we look at the SPY, we look at the Q is probably the best thing to look at here just because tech. But if we look at this, we go back to Friday, which was the 10th. Let me put this up. I'll put a 20-day chart up here. Yeah, so here's the 10th, right? At 10 a.m., we had a huge downward swing, and it kind of sparked a lot of these downward trends. The next day, we were down even more. We're bouncing up some today, but yeah. Market definitely didn't like the JOLTS report. It definitely didn't like non-farm payrolls, and I think one of the more again, when you look at the big report, which is payrolls, government jobs is only a small piece of that. And I get it. That's what a lot of people have as like an argument, but it's like the payroll report showed strength in private payrolls, right? Much more than government payrolls. And so I don't necessarily like the argument that it's all government payrolls influencing it, not private, because the private payroll numbers were the big one, right? That tanked markets. Do you think U.S. Wall Street will react bullish or bearish? I don't know. 55% of people are bullish, 45% are bearish. Hey, hit the like button. We got almost 800 people here. We still got about 40 minutes until this report drops, so appreciate the love. Bro, the young people have this thing, like young guys have this thing now where they are like dyeing their hair completely bleach blonde. When did that become a thing, dude? I've seen like a bunch of people, like my cousin did it, like all right, chat. Yeah, let's see if the market holds. I'm ready for it. We'll see. We're on our 6th green day in a row, I think. Here, let me see how many green days. And so, again, the way we've changed our system has been great, honestly. Like, we've had multiple green days in a row. You know, the good thing that I'm going to do with this funded account, and one thing I really like now, and I think this is a great setting. So when I have... when I have a huge green streak, I set a $200 max loss on the day, right? So basically, even if I come in losing, it's not going to be some big loss that takes away all the gains that I've made in this green streak, right? And I think that's important. So yeah. I'm not going to give myself a profit target or a trade limit, but I'm going to give myself a... I'm going to log myself out, basically. Yeah, and it's only on that account. Good. All right. Yeah, the Nasdaq's been downtrending too here. That was a thing. No, I remember the 2000s, man. But yeah. But now it's long hair, right? Like in the 2000s, it was like short hair like Eminem, right? Now it's like long, wavy hair. I see it. So you're telling me you didn't do it to copy Eminem? Listen, I remember my sister dyeing my hair with hydrogen peroxide. And a toothbrush, right? But it was never like bleach blonde, right? Like they gave me highlights. I think I got highlights back then, but it was never like bleach blonde. Well, no, young people are doing it, bro. I've seen a bunch of kids doing it. Thoughts on inflation? Hey, thank you, Aaron, for the donation, brother. Thanks so much, man. Inflation up, sideways, or down? I don't know, and I don't know how the market's going to react to this, brother. I really don't. The PPI inflation is something that I don't have, like, a track record guessing right. I've never really tried to guess PPI because I think it's a little bit harder to guess. What producers and how much they're paying is a little bit different area. As well as, like, I don't know how the market's going to react to this regardless, right? Like, CPI is predictable in terms of reaction. Like, lower CPI is generally better, higher CPI is generally worse, but PPI is not the same. PPI can have all these different, like, weird reactions. So I genuinely don't know what we're going to get for this. Genuinely don't know. Like, all I can do, here's Bitcoin. We'll put that up on screen too. But yeah, I genuinely have no idea, like, what we're going to get for this. All right, so we're going to put our combine up. We've been trading on this. Let me make the screen a little bit smaller here. We're going to put our combine up. We need to make 1,500 to get funded on this one. This is something that we've been doing to cure our boredom in pre-market, right? So instead of getting bored and taking a bunch of dumb trades on my funded account in pre-market, I just trade combines. Like, just play around with this. If I lose, it's not the end of the world, right? We made 1,500 on this one. So in fact, I'm going to buy this a little bit here. We're going to buy one contract. We might add a little bit more to two. All right, so we're flat. I'm not going to add any more to this, though. We start to lose 150 bucks or so. We're going to have to just cut this thing. Yeah. All right, we ended up losing about $120, but that's okay. I'm wondering if we're just getting baked into the inflation report. We only got one contract left here, too. So now we're kind of green. All right. We'll add to this. Oh man, that thing faked me out like crazy, dude. Look at that thing. All right, so we're down like 300 now on this thing, maybe more. What a candle. I think we gotta just swing for the fences here now that we're down this much. All right, so there we go. We got 3 contracts. Took half off, locked a little bit in. We can now add back to it if we want. I'll show you guys how I swing for the fences here. All right, so there we go. We got 5 contracts. Let's retrace back up. It's taking a little time here. There we go. All right, so we locked in like $100 here. And now we could probably hold the rest flat. But it's kind of breaking down a little bit too quickly. All right. We did that. Okay. All right, so we made something back here. I don't know if we made all of it back, but let's see. We ended up losing like 400 or so there. This is 190 plus 185, so that'd be like, yeah, so we ended up losing like high 3s. And then we made back 1. We made about half of that back here. We are now down 250 on the day. All right, guys, we got 30 minutes left here, chat. 30 minutes left. Look at that drop. We avoided that huge drop disaster. I'm going to have to wait. If we retrace enough, we might jump on a position, but I need to wait until, well, on these demo accounts, I have a tendency to just click buttons. And so what I'm looking for is like a couple retracement patterns. Let me catch back up on chat. You sure that's trading, not gambling? Oh, it might be some gambling. I mean, I don't freaking know, dude. This is a combine account, right? So this is a challenge account. Like on my actual account, I am up 6 green days in a row. So, you know, listen, we got to be a degenerate sometime here. All right. Like, we got to be a degenerate sometimes. I mean, we're not doing that much gambling. Look, let me show you guys. This is my stats so far on the account that you currently see. These are my stats right now, brother. You know, so I mean, we're not gambling that much on this thing. You know, we are now running about $1,200 total P&L. We're winning about 73% of our trades. Our wins are larger than our losses. Our profit factor is almost 3 to 1. So, I mean, we're not gambling that bad on this thing, bro. But top 3, you know, worst ever traders of all time ever in the world, they say. All right, so we'll look to buy this if we get a better trend, to be honest. We'll actually add one here. I think we're going to rebound a little bit here. We're going to start it with just one contract, see if we can, you know, bring it back. We're going to have to cut it. So we lost 50 bucks. Yeah, but I'm just kind of messing around in this thing. I really am, right? Like, I'm genuinely just messing around in this thing. Ooh, I added 3 contracts at the top here, though. Like, if I lose, I lose, right? This is a $50 challenge account, right? Top Step gives you a demo. They test your skill with a demo account first. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you only lose what you pay for it. That is what I'm currently doing. So it's different than, like, YOLOing like a real account, right? It's just different. It's not the same thing. And so I'm trading this so that really I have a rule in my funded accounts where I don't trade pre-market in them at all. And so I wouldn't trade my real account now anyway. And so we're just kind of having fun. But again, if you want to check out Top Step, they're the most legit one in the world. It's a great way to learn how to day trade. Like, if you don't day trade much, or if you've never day traded and you want to learn, it's a lot cheaper to do this than funding your own account and trading that for your first account, because this still teaches you how to, like, you have some pressure, you're risking something, but if you fail, you're out 50 bucks. It's not the end of the world. Like, it's, you know, relatively insignificant in the grand scheme of trading. But if you pass it, you get a 90% split. They fund you 50K with a 90% split. It's only 50 bucks a month too. So, like, if you lose, all right, we're going to risk our account for the biscuit here, chat. Don't judge me. All right. But if you lose, it's not the end of the world. And that's what I'm trying to say. And they paid out over almost 200 million in the last 4 years. They fund thousands of traders. They've been around for over 12 years. They're the most legit one in the world. And the big edge here is that once you're funded, as well as like now, there's zero commission, right? There's literally zero commission. And so you can trade and do all that good stuff. Although, again, they're an affiliate of mine. I'm biased because I get paid by them. So I'm biased for sure. I don't like this at all, though, guys. So I am going to cut this here. Whew. I think I lost a little bit there, but it could have been worse. But yeah, if you want to check it out, again, they're an affiliate of mine. I'm biased. Remember, I'm one of the top 3 worst day traders ever, of all time ever in the world. Do not copy me. I'm not an investment professional. I am not liable if you lose money. You know, always make your own assessment. Trade responsibly here, chat. And remember, yeah, frankly, I just have no idea what I'm doing. And do not copy me. You know what I mean? Oh, wait, sorry. I'm out here trading. Here, let me get the disclaimer out of the way. Sorry, guys. There we go. Yeah, I'm getting chopped out right now, dude. I'm just getting beat up. Can you pass one trade? In one trade, no. You have to... there's some rules. All right, so here's a breakdown of this low. What I'm worried about right here is, like, look at this low right here. A lot of the time, these levels can be, like, big milestone areas right here. And I don't want to get caught in, like, the drag to that level. How much am I down on the day? I'm down a lot now, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So, I got to just risk it, I think, on this account now. But I think a lot of it also depends on what NVIDIA does too. Like, if NVIDIA rejects at this 200 EMA VWAP level, That's going to drag us down. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start taking one contract on this thing. And I know if I fail this combine, people are going to act like I'm like the worst trader of all time. And so I'm just mentally preparing myself for that. I'm going to short this one contract, though. And I think my plan is to add to a winner if I get one. All right, so there's a winner. I'm going to add to it here. There's 2 contracts. We're going to add to this now, too, and see if we can break down and touch this low down here is what we want. We got 21 minutes until PPI inflation data starts. There we go. So we're going to take half of that off, lock in some here. Take another half off, and I guess lock in more. All right, so we made $200 on this trade so far. And we're going to get out the rest there. So we made like 150 there. Definitely the 3 worst ever. Yeah, you can't pass it one day. It looks like me getting out here was the right move, but again, what we got right now is we got PPI data coming out soon, and I don't want PPI data. I think we could get choppiness leading into it. Yeah, definitely top 3 ever. All right, guys, we got about 1,100 viewers right now. Thanks so much. I appreciate you guys watching the stream. Yeah. Yeah, and just for everybody that might be acting like I'm just the worst ever right now. This is my graph over the last, let me put up a longer term graph here, right? Yeah. Like, these are my stats currently on these accounts anyway. So we're doing pretty good. This is my actual funded account graph right now. Most of this month. You know, this is my daily P&L graphs. Most of this month. On my actual funded account. And so, listen, I can be crazy gambler on my combine account, and that's okay. I'm trading regular minis right now. All right, guys, 20 minutes. 20 minutes. John admits we might possibly be entering a bear cycle, but we need, yeah, exactly. I think we need more confirmation. I don't know if we're going to enter a bear market. What I'm saying is, like, we're extended on the upside to a point in which I'm not comfortable buying. Is what I'm saying. I don't know if we're going to enter some long-term bear market or anything like that. I just genuinely don't know. All I'm saying is I'm not buying up anything right now. I'm not telling people we're going to crash or correct or anything like that. I'm just not buying up anything right now because it seems a little too expensive. It seems a little too expensive to buy up stuff right now. No? But maybe I'm wrong. I don't freaking know. Yeah. It seems a little too expensive. Right, do you think it's a good time to buy stuff right now? Do y'all think it's a good time to buy? Yeah, guys, we got 20 minutes left. 20 minutes. Remember, PPI inflation data coming out soon. All right, we're right at this low level here, too. All right, I'm going to short this now, too. Attacking this down wick and maybe adding to it. Kind of risking it. I might as well risk it, right? All right, we got 5 contracts total. Don't do it to me. It's not looking good on this one, guys. It's not looking good. Oh, dude, what a retracement. I kind of deserve this, I think, because I'm kind of buying it. Oh, dude. Calm down. I think I kind of saved myself a little bit here. But I think we got to also just kind of swing it. See if we catch it. There we go. Come on. Give it to me. Daddy needs a new pair of shoes here. No? Are y'all too young to understand that reference? What is that from? Alright. I don't know if I feel good or bad about this trade right now. Yeah, it's a combine account. You'll get new shoes, John. Don't worry. What kind of new shoes, though, is the question. I'm shorting this because we got these lows right here, and I think we want to tap this. But I have no idea, man. And again, if we lose here, we're down 50 bucks. It's not the end of the world. We're just playing around with this, having fun in pre-market to give. This is for you guys at home. Here, chat. All right. Man, we went down there. We tapped it once. It's not really giving me some good fills, but that's all right. Look at this graph. Every time I look, it makes me laugh. Is that it? Are we nickel backing my charts right now? I could probably give you guys that right now. I'd watch. Y'all want to hear it? Here, hold on. All right. All right, we locked in a half of the chunk of profit here. We got 2 contracts left. We're actually making money on this trade, believe it or not. But there we go. We got ourselves back to a more reasonable spot here now on that trade. There you go. I thought it would touch this level too. Here, let's show you guys. Hold on. Hey, what's up, Chef? Hey, thank you, brother. Hey, thanks so much. Hey, we got 15 minutes left until PPI inflation data goes live here, chat. Almost there here. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Hit the subscribe button. Yeah, I definitely closed too early. I thought we would tap this level, though, so I can't really get mad about, like... Actually, let me answer this thing short. I can't really get too upset about it hitting my profit target and then getting out where I should, you know. Like, we got like a big retracement back up here. Again, we're gonna try max size. I gotta make back a bunch is why I'm doing this, but man, kind of a volatile look here. We might lose it right here. I don't know. We're close. I'm really trying to just kind of play with it. I don't mind if I lose this. Again, it's $50, but I'd like to not. You know, sometimes we'll get like, to explain this trade, right? Like, let me explain it real quick if we can get out at a reasonable spot. Yeah, I just got to cut that. When we get these big down wicks like this, right? Most of the time we're going to fill this gap at least half of the way. Like, look here, big down wick, filled the gap, right? Usually we fill them, but I would say it's probably like 30 to 40% of the time we don't. But there's a little bit of an edge there. And so as long as you're willing to cut it, if you're wrong, you know, it's okay. And really this means, like, it's supposed to mean buying pressure, but I think it fakes people out more than they realize. And so that's why we went in full size there, and it looks like we were just wrong, but it might actually fill the gap. I don't think I'm necessarily trading well on this thing. All right, guys. Yeah, defensive time frame. All right, hey, we got 12 minutes left. 12 minutes left. Again, today we got PPI inflation data. It's the first half of the big inflation report that we get, right? So today's the first half of the big inflation report we get. The big one is tomorrow, though. CPI is way more relevant than PPI is. Although PPI might, do something. See, I should have stayed in it, guys. I'm telling you, bro. Like, I'm telling you, that downwick. All right. Here, this is just me risking the account. We're down too much to where... Ugh, dude. I don't know if my fills have been getting unlucky or I'm just buying at my own support level or shorting at my own support level. But I think this is it for this account. We're going to have to try again another time, I think. Oh, yeah, this is it. This is it. Unless we retrace all the way back down, that's it, guys. We had a good run in it. We made 1,500 yesterday, lost 1,500 today. Yep, there it is. We gave ourselves a good chance. Dude, my headphones died as soon as that notification came up. All right, I'm not going to trade my actual account, though, right now, chat. I'm not going to trade my actual account. If I trade my actual account in pre-market, y'all can slap me through the screen. Okay. Don't let me do it. Are people acting like I'm the worst trader ever in the chat? I'm not even going to look right now. I'm not even going to look. Yeah, here it is. All right. I'm going to reset this and then pretend like I never lost anything today, guys. I don't even know what a loss is right now. All right, look, I'm clean on the day. I haven't lost at all, guys. Actually, I know what I'm doing. I need to draw my support and resistance levels is what I need to do. So, look, we got one here. So, we got this little range. Let's draw some levels. That's probably what I'm doing wrong today. We got a little bit of isolated low there. And it's a 21,000 level. If we look above us here. I wish I didn't reset so I could go show my graph. All right, we got a little bit of one there. Yep, I like that one. Another one. We got another one maybe right here. All right, there we go. Oh no, I don't want to. Like. Okay, yeah, it's 21K. Okay, good. I don't want to mess up my levels here. I think my short would have worked too. I think it barely topped me out there too. I think it would have worked, but it's all right. You should have done what I would have done because I'm awesome and I always trade correctly. Yeah. But honestly, anytime somebody's like hypercritical, it usually means they're kind of like new, right? Like they're kind of like rookies. Like most experienced traders will have a laugh and joke around with me, but like if somebody's genuinely critical, it usually means they're new. Like variance is so high in trading, nobody like knows if you're gonna make money, lose money any particular day. So the people that don't understand that are usually the ones that are the most critical, and they're usually the newest traders, ironically enough. But coming from the top 3 worst trader ever, that's the truth. All right. Pickleball? Pickleball looks like so much fun, although I've never really played it. But it looks like fun. All right, guys, 8 minutes left. We got 1,600 viewers right now. Dude, don't lose it over that. $50 is $50. I know, bro. I don't like losing $50. It's not like I'm like, hey, I'm going to lose this. You know, like I tried not to lose it. I just traded bad. Listen, what do you want me to say? This is why I don't trade in pre-market. It literally is a rule for my funded account. As soon as I stopped trading in pre-market, I had like huge green streaks over and over again. And so it really is just like pre-market trading. I'm just not good at it. I also think sometimes I get ahead of myself and I'm streaming, and so I want to make it exciting and I want to trade for people. But like the trades in which I do best are where I document levels, have good risk reward on each trade, or at least try to at least know where my risk and reward targets are, and trade after the opening bell. Right, I got a good chance of making money then. But I don't always follow that rule. I get bored. I like clicking buttons as much as the next guy, you know. Oh, it's gonna happen especially if you're trying to speed run and get funded in 2 days like I do. It's inevitable. All right, guys, we're gonna wait until the data comes out in about 2 minutes. I'm also gonna put like a main chart on. There we go. So we're gonna put full screen on this chart up. I'm gonna put 2 charts up here. We're gonna put specifically gold and the SPY. Maybe the dollar index. I'm curious what the dollar index is gonna do. We could also put like yields. I think we could put like 10-year yields up if we really want to get some understanding there. The feeling of losing $50 is much stronger than the feeling of winning 50. Yeah, it's kind of like a poker. Like I play poker a lot, right? And one of the things that you see in poker, and this is actually a very famous quote. There's a very famous quote that's like, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it goes something like professional poker players rarely remember their winning hands, but they remember with excruciating detail the big like suck outs and beats that they've had in poker, right? The big losses, the big losing hands that they shouldn't have lost, the heart destroying ones, like they remember with excruciating detail. And so I think it's just human nature to remember losses more than winnings, but yeah. All right. All right, guys. Yeah. I mean, that's like definitely true. All right, guys. We got 5 minutes left. Exactly 5 minutes. Market's still flushing down. No, my level here. Hold on. This level actually held some too. All right. All right, let's go back. So we got a little hole here. Let's look at... I'm going to say it's like right... I don't know. We got this isolated level here. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, I think we could look at like this. Where'd it go? There it goes. We could look at like that. Maybe a little bit higher, like here. All right. Yeah, there's a little gap too, I think. It's looking weak in the PPI data in 5 minutes, chat. 4 minutes. All right, we got over 2 now. Over 2,000 here. In sales, we're taught to sell people's fear. Make 100,000 first, John. No pressure. Yeah, listen. I mean, that's what I'm here for, guys. Is that a wrap, Ryan? All this time you were pretending so much for my happy ending, bro. Get your mind out the gutter, sir. Like, what are you thinking about over there? Everything is oversold. Home and lower can. Are we in a bear market now? No, not yet. We're not in a bear market until we downtrend month after month after month, right? And I don't think we're there yet. I mean, we might be down a little bit. Let me see. Here's a weekly chart. You're basically asking if we're in a bear market here. You know? I mean, look, guys. If we do all this green and then do this right here, are we in a bear market? I don't think so. Not yet. I'm not saying it's not coming, but we're just not there yet, guys. You can't be overzealous here. Again, I think this month is the interesting month that we could get big volatility from earnings, Fed decision. We got inflation data today and tomorrow, so I think this is like a big month for that stuff. And if we do get big volatility, it could be this month. But nobody freaking knows. Definitely not Michael Burry. He definitely doesn't know. That's Avril Lavigne's lyrics. Listen, I'm not Canadian, you know. I like Canadians, though. Canadians are great. Poutine is delicious, but I'm just not Canadian, man. So I don't know Avril's lyrics. All right, we're breaking down. I could agree with that. Market is bearish. It's not bear market. Sure. Like we're looking red lately, but we're not bear market yet. Like we're not going to be in a bear market is a very specific thing in which we downtrend for like month after month after month. Biggest catalyst for volatility. Yeah, I mean the inauguration day is absolutely big for markets for sure. We got 2 minutes here, chat. 2 minutes. You guys ready? What do you guys think? Higher or lower numbers than expected? Higher or lower? Here, guys. Today is the day in which we get big economic reports. High or low? Again, it's expected at 0.4% today. 0.4%. We will cover it as soon as it's released. It's expected at 0.4%. We're ready here, chat. We got a minute and a half left. Make sure you hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. You want to hit the live button. Make sure you're fully caught up so it's not delayed. But again, 0.4% is what's expected today. 0.4%. 0.2% for core. Actually, did they update it? It's 0.3% for core now. Did they change that? I thought it was 0.2. They might have recently updated it. But anyways. All right, here we go. We got 1 minute. Chat, 1 minute. All right, here we go. Whew. All right, guys, let's watch the markets. SPY is flat on the day. Gold's down slightly. We got 45 seconds left, about 40 seconds. I'm going to pause this. It's a little bit, it's pretty much on time, but so it doesn't jingle whenever the data comes out. All right, chat. We got 3,000 viewers right now. 20 seconds. Here we go. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up, chat. We appreciate it. All right, 10 seconds. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and here's the report. 0.2%, 0.2% lower than expected inflation data, 0.2% versus 0.4% expected. Lower than expected. The market definitely likes this and is flying up right now. 0.2% versus 0.4% expected. Lower inflation than expected, chat. Lower inflation than expected. PPI year over year showed up at 3.3%, lower than expected. Core PPI showed up at 0% versus 0.3% expected. Lower than expected universally here for inflation data, and the market loves it, chat. The market's breaking over all these big levels. We're testing highs of the day now in the NASDAQ here. But the market likes it, guys. The market likes it. SPY rip it up, just broke highs of the day. Gold rip it up, broke highs of the day. Again, lower than expected, 0.2% inflation data versus 0.4% month over month for PPI inflation. And again, this is the smaller report. Tomorrow's report is way bigger than this. Way bigger than this. It's the consumer price index. Again, way higher than, or way lower than expected, guys. 0.2% versus 0.4% expected. Noticeably better than expected for inflation data, chat. Noticeably better than expected. 0.2%. Yeah. 0.2% versus 0.4% expected. This thing shows 0.3%, but better than expected here, chat. We did better than expected. I'll put this scrolling on top of the screen here with all of it. We'll put core up as well. Core showed up at versus, I showed 0.3% for core, but all right. We're going to put this all scrolling at the top of the screen here. All right, but 0%, guys, 0%, better than expected here. I'm going to show, I showed like 0.3% expected. So, all right, data scrolling in yellow at the top of the screen here, chat. Data scrolling in yellow at the top of the screen. Yeah, let me fix this, make sure. Data scrolling in yellow, top of the screen here, chat. Better than expected. You know, better than expected. Market loves it. Flying up right now. Flying up. Good. Yeah, bond yields are going to follow interest rates. Right. And so what this means is essentially that the Fed is more likely to cut. It's not likely that they're going to cut, but they're more likely to cut because inflation's under control, according to this report. Now, tomorrow's report is way bigger than this, chat, and way more important is tomorrow's report. Here, guys, sorry for bumping the mic. Tomorrow's CPI inflation. Okay. Tomorrow's CPI inflation report, way more important than this. Way more important. Okay. And so I wouldn't get overzealous with your longs right now because this inflation report is way more important. Or tomorrow's inflation report is way more important. This is a good rebound, though, a nice rebound. A solid rebound. And so, yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, are you bullish or bearish? 61% are bullish. The bulls were right today. The bulls were right. Again, if you look at the top scrolling yellow numbers here. Now, I might actually start, to be honest, shorting this. I know it's kind of a crazy strategy, but we're going to try. All right, we took half of that off. All right, we took half. We just made about $200 there on this one. 200 bucks. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I shorted it. We're out. I'm not going to take any long-term shorts. We're over the big levels that I looked at here, but we do have to pay attention to, like, I would say this level here. Also, guys, if you want to check out an affiliate of mine, check out TopStep. TopStep gives you a demo. You can see how similar this is to day trading stocks. It's incredibly similar to day trading stocks. There's no PDT rule in futures as well, so you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, basically day trade the SPY and Q price action. No PDT rule. Patterns are very similar to blue chip stock patterns. And what TopStep does is they give you a demo, and they test your skill with a demo account first. If you pass the test, they fund you between 50K up to 150K with a 90% split, and they've paid out $180 million since 2020. They fund thousands of traders. They've been around for over 12 years. Here's the rules. You got to make 3K in profit without losing 2K. 5 contracts is plenty. I had 5 contracts earlier. I could lose thousands with 5 contracts in minutes, seconds, really. And it's $50 a month. And so that's your risk. You have some risk, so it's a beautiful, like, middle ground of pressure, right? You're risking $50. It's not the end of the world if you lose it. But if you pass it, it's similar to funding your own account, 90% split. You get to keep your first 10K in profit. And again, they're the most legit ones in the world. It's a great way to learn how to day trade. And most day traders lose. I think that's probably the same here. It's frankly a lot cheaper to lose there than it is to fund your own account thousands of dollars, 10, 20, 30 grand, like to get around the PDT rule like a lot of people do. And it's just a great way to learn how to day trade. And so if you want to check it out, here's the link. Remember, I am certainly biased. Some say I'm the top 3 most biased ever of all time ever in the world. If you do sign up, guys, use TopStep X. There's 0 commission if you sign up through my link. There's 0 commission on TopStep X. It's a great way to learn how to day trade. And 0 commission is the biggest edge in funding, in my opinion. Look at the support level that we drew, and look at the bounce directly off of it. We drew this level like a couple minutes ago. Look at that bounce. Our short thesis was correct too here. But yeah, if you want to check it out, I'm mostly an economist, but I also day trade. We swing trade. We invest. We look at all kind of markets. So we're kind of an economics report channel anyway, which is why we got thousands of people here right now. But yeah, check them out. There's the link in the description or in the chat if you want to check it out. All right, so we did pull back to exactly that support level that we drew here, and we do have a little gap. Like, this is good data, but I think the only thing that I'm a little skeptical of is that this is a smaller report than CPI, right? CPI is a larger report, and so it's much more important. Tomorrow's data is much more important than today's. And so, yeah, that's the only thing. Like, tomorrow's report is a little bit more important than today's. And so I'm worried about tomorrow's report and what that looks like versus today. And you don't see me bearish that much, but I just think the market's up a little bit too much here. And I think this is the initial reaction, but we'll buy this if it pulls back enough, to be honest. We didn't get the pullback that we wanted. We'll short this, play around with it, see if we can get something down there. There we go. I just made another $120 there, slowly grinding that up. Well, futures has no PDT rule regardless of it. Yeah, it's a demo account. It's a demo account unless you're funded with a live account, which they do as well, right? If you pass it and then you do well, they'll fund you with a live account. I'm a warlock that can predict CPI. Yeah, no, listen. There was a time in which I got I think I got the last one wrong too, but that's like 2 out of 8. So that's 2 out of 8 CPI reports I've gotten wrong. I've gotten 6 out of 8 right. That's 75% accuracy. But the reason he's saying I'm a warlock is because I'm actually a direct descendant of Giles Corey, who was like the first man in the Salem witch trials. If you ever watch The Crucible, he's the more weight guy. And there's a story behind it. Like, if the state would take all his belongings if he admitted to being like a wizard or whatever it was at the time. And so, they were kind of like stoning him. And his famous quote was more weight. Basically, they were like, do you want to admit you were a wizard or whatever it is? And he was like, more weight. He's like, basically, F you. Like, throw some more on there, because if he would have admitted it, the state would have taken his property or whatever it is, right? But yeah, I'm a direct descendant of him. And I got 6 out of the 8 last CPI reports right. So when I say market wizard, no, I'm just joking. Kind of. I'm serious, but joking about the wizard thing. Yeah, we're going to be doing CPI tomorrow for sure. Yeah, here we go again. John's talking about Giles Corey. I know, man. Listen. Last time I talked about this was probably months ago, though, It's a fun little conversation piece. Yeah, definitely top 3 warlocks of all time ever. All right, chat. So, 10 minutes in, we've gone up big on lower CPI or lower PPI inflation data. Gone up big, and big yellow letters is where the inflation data showed up as. I'll put it up a little bit larger here. There you go. Data came in better than expected, lower than expected, showing better inflation data than expected. I'm sure the Dixie is falling down on this report, right? No. Interesting. The dollar index is not as weak as I thought it would be on lower inflation data. I think tomorrow's CPI report is much more impactful over the dollar index. But yeah, still a little underwhelming reaction there. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Tiago? Hey, thanks, man. Oh, about UFC? Makhachev's the easy pick. Makhachev's gonna beat. Makhachev wins that. I think Makhachev is just too good, man. I think Makhachev's just too good. Where's Bitcoin at? I'm sure Bitcoin reacted positively. Yeah, it initially reacted positively. It looks a lot like the SPY. I always tell people, like, a lot of the time Bitcoin is gonna have a macro, or a shorter term, like a micro correlation with markets, right? So things that make the NASDAQ push up are going to make Bitcoin push up shortly. And again, if you look at Bitcoin here on the bottom right, and then you look at the NASDAQ, they look pretty similar based on this economic report. Again, I think it's a little premature to celebrate, though. I do think that tomorrow's CPI report could reverse anything that happens today on the good and bad sides, right? I think tomorrow's inflation report's more. Yeah. Hiri versus Jamal. I don't know. I used to be a fan of Jamal Hill. Then he started crying about the Pereira loss, right? And, like, it's so misplaced that it's hard to root for him now, Like, Pereira, like, waved off the ref after Hill kicked him in the, and Pereira waved it off. They both agreed to start fighting. They both touched gloves, I think. And Hill threw the first punch, right? And Pereira countered with a check hook. And then KO'd Hill. And then Hill cried about it for a year, saying it wasn't fair because he wasn't ready. Well, it's like, bro, if you weren't ready, why are you throwing a left hook at Pereira first? And Pereira threw the check hook at you after you threw a hook at him. It's just kind of like, stop crying about it, man. Accept your loss and move on. You know? Unless he's going for the heel, like the Covington kind of heel, that's fine too. But anyways, market's kind of flat over the past 5 minutes, chat. We haven't really done much. Yeah, so market's kind of flat. I don't know what I think here. I guess I'm bearish right here. But I guess we'll put our money. We're up already a couple hundred, so we can swing for this direction now. I think yesterday we were reading the market much better. Now we're kind of flat on the day if we lose here, but we'll add one more and then be prepared to cut it if it goes up too much more. So we got that resistance level that we drew. I'm just looking to see if that rejects us here. If not, we'll cut it. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted. We didn't really make that much from this though. I'll add a little bit to it. There we go. All right, so we ended up making $300 or so from it. Yeah, those lines are being nicely respected. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I realized. Like, honestly, Top Step TV showed me how well markets react to my lines a lot of the time. You know, because I went on Top Step TV the last few times, dude. Like, my predictions have turned out to be... it honestly got me thinking more long-term with my day trades, right? Because usually I'm kind of like a really short-term scalper, but I've gone on Top Step TV and drawn levels mostly, and then made different like trades based off of those levels, and they've all turned out very well, and the market respected the levels a lot, and so it kind of got me thinking about that. And with that said, look at this level here, rejected right off of it, which was the plan the whole time. A big rejection too. Can you live stream from jiu-jitsu class? Nah, bro, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that to everybody else. I got a video. You want to see me in, you know. All right, guys. Love you. Have a good day. Where's Jack? Okay, well, send him in if you can. All right. Love you. Yeah, market generally likes less inflation, but PPI is a little bit different. Do you have to have a 10 million net worth to trade on Top Step? No. I'm not worth $10 million, bro. 10 mil? Dude, I wish I had 10 million, dude. I wouldn't be streaming right now. I'd buy up, you know. I'd spend half of that on bonds and just get paid $250K for the rest of the next 10 years and just buy a bunch of investment properties and invest in the stock market. Hey, buddy. Hey, I love you, dude. Ooh, man. All right, sorry, my son's in here. I swear, dude, both my kids are just going through it right now. My daughter's having friend drama. My son's having school drama. Just, you know. Honestly, kids are just mean, man. Like, I wonder where the parents are. Like, kids are just freaking, like, mean. Like, it's just cruel and mean and spiteful and, like, just kind of, like, off, dude. Like, we try to teach our kids to, like, be nice and be good people. But apparently everybody doesn't behave that way, dude. I feel for it, man. The meaner the kid is, like, the more I just assume they've got, like, big problems, right? Like if you're super mean, you probably just got your own, like, huge issues that you're struggling with, right? And you're just kind of lashing out at other people. But man, dude, I'm ready for my daughter to just graduate. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into it, but my daughter's been a good friend to, like, her friends, like a genuinely good friend, and we push her to be good friends, right? But, you know, some kids just not good people. You know what I mean? Just not good people, unfortunately. Yeah, most of the time they don't have parents, like, or their parents are just checked out. They're not really doing much. Sometimes they're sipping the bottle a little bit too much, and they're just not really teaching their kids to be good people, you know, unfortunately. But hey, that's life. What's your net worth, bro? I don't freaking know, dude. None of that matters. 6 times? Disney World for 6 times, bro? Dude, I wouldn't go to... Even if I had $1 billion, I wouldn't go to Disney World more than once a year. Disney World, that's an exhausting trip, man. That's an exhausting trip. Like, you were nice in school? Oh, yeah, dude, I was nice. I was shy. I wasn't mean. I was shy mostly, right? Like, I was like a shy kid who got nervous and stayed quiet. I definitely wasn't mean. If I was mean, it wasn't intentional. It was mostly like sometimes I joked around. Like, I was kind of like a class clown in some ways, but also very shy. But none of it was like mean. I wasn't like ever intentionally like hyper cruel to anybody. Not that I'm aware of. Not that I can remember. You know, I was mostly just shy and nice to people. But would you rather fight John Jones, Francis, or Alex Pereira? Realistically, I'd probably rather fight Alex than all of them. Because, like, I'm still gonna lose. But, Jones probably hurt my knees with oblique kicks. Francis is just too strong and too scary. None of them are good options, though. Right, for sure, Mama Pawn. Again, it's unfortunate, man. I feel for some of these kids, too, like, because if they're really mean to people like that, they're probably just struggling, right? Like, that's what it is. They're just struggling, you know? Yeah, y'all don't need to know my net worth. It doesn't matter. What's your prediction for CPI tomorrow? I don't know. I'll give you guys my prediction tomorrow morning. Yeah, what's funny is, like, my daughter's got hands too. Like, she's trained Muay Thai, she's trained Jiu-Jitsu, she's got power. Like, she's got a, like, genuine power. Like, I've seen her hit a heavy bag. I've seen her train. My daughter's got legit, like, you know. She's not really the one you want to mess with if you're in high school, you know. But she's also really sweet and kind and wouldn't hurt anybody unless it really absolutely came to that. What's the difference between PPI is producer price index, it's business inflation. CPI is consumer price index, it's consumer inflation. I'm gonna short this, although I kind of wanted a better entry, but we might add to it. All right, we're gonna add 5 contracts here. See if we can break down a little bit more here. There we go. There we go. I just made another. I don't know how much we're up now. We're up $850 on this account now. I'm gonna short into this pop too. See if we hold this resistance level here. I'm gonna take half of this off. I don't like it. Yeah, so we ended up losing. We're still up 500 on this one. We're gonna switch to our actual live account after the bell. Carlos says PPI consensus today was just nonsense, honestly, too high. So you're saying that the expectations were too high for PPI today? Fed is more concerned about jobs right now. Well, I think the market fears like a strong labor market more than it wants a strong labor market. The labor market's already strong. CPI report will be here tomorrow. We'll cover the CPI. Just like we covered PPI today, we'll cover CPI tomorrow. Yeah, the data's out. PPI came in lower than expected. The market's reacted mostly positively to it. But it's interesting to see what happens here. I'm confused about what we're going to get on this. Again, I understand like tomorrow's CPI report's much more relevant and impactful than this. It's just much more important. So, you know, what we get today is important, but it's not as important as tomorrow. And so while this is good today, I don't want to see the market start to get a little bit too optimistic before tomorrow. Because if tomorrow's data comes in high, market's going to tank most likely. You never really know though. Either like anything could happen. CPI could come in way lower and still go, and the market could still go down, you know. All right, guys. Yeah, we did get that breakdown like I thought we would too, man. All right, so people bought cheaper jewelry as holiday gifts. That's sinking Signet stock. K Jewelers, Zales, and Jared Parrott cuts its quarter 4 sales guidance as holiday sales disappointed. Yeah, I mean, I think I think people are starting to kind of realize that like diamonds are cool, but they're not as big as they like. I think one of the things hurting these markets, right, is lab-grown diamonds. Lab-grown diamonds are really depreciating the price of regular diamonds, because if you can get an actual diamond that's cleaner and looks better and that's virtually indistinguishable, unless you get like some special tools or like a jeweler's loop or something like that, outside of that it's indistinguishable from a real diamond, then why would anybody buy a real diamond? Like, if I had the option, I'd get a bigger lab-grown diamond than a smaller real-grown diamond. It doesn't freaking matter. And it doesn't come from conflicts, right? Like, real diamonds, a lot of the time, they're come from countries that are really deeply involved in, like, mining and conflicts and stuff like that. Lab-grown diamonds are grown in a lab, right? There's morally better implications there, too, right? And I think that universally is affecting the whole diamond industry, and it has been for the last few years. Diamonds have never really been good investments either. For me, I like buying things that go up in value. Like, I like watches, because watches tend to go up in value. Gold tends to go up in value long term. Diamonds are less predictable in that way, and they're more artificially propped up. I mean, Rolexes are certainly propped up, but yeah. Problem is you can't sell it or else you lose 50%, so let's be real. Yeah, but that's true with regular diamonds as well. You know how many people buy a wedding ring for 30 or 40K, and then when it comes time to sell it, they're making half that, maybe, right? Like, that's pretty true regardless of whether it's lab or real. Honestly, I think anybody looking to have some huge ring anyway is a little bit like... one thing I'm very lucky with Carol is that Carol is not super materialistic in that way. You know, for the past few years, I've offered to buy her a new, bigger wedding band and ring, and she doesn't want one. She'd rather me spend the money on other stuff for her, you know? Like, so she doesn't really care about looking rich or anything like that, which is nice, you know? I'd rather that. She's not, like... Yeah, she's more chill in that way, which is good, you know. Because you got some people that they just, you know, they're just trying to maximize all that stuff, and I don't think it matters that much. Right, exactly. Honestly, Carol and I got married at the courthouse, right? Like, we did not have a big wedding. We got married at the courthouse when we were young and dumb, right? But we've been together for now like 14 years. And so you see people that have these huge, like, big weddings and these crazy big weddings. And, like, they're not together for 5 years before they, you know. And so I truly believe that, like, somebody that pushes for, like, a massive wedding is a huge red flag. Because they're usually not paying for it, and somebody's got to pay for it. And it's just, you know. But everybody's different. I don't think it's always that's the case. I just think a lot of the time it is. All right, so we are breaking down. We are giving back some of these gains, which I thought we would. The positions we took after this were short. If I would have held this position, I would have made some money, but it's all right. All right, let me put some music back up here. All right, so we bounced it off of this level again, too, here. We're right under that 200 exponential moving average as well. I think we could get choppiness today because I think we have CPI inflation data tomorrow mixed with retail sales data the next day, right? Thursday, we got jobless claims and retail sales data. So I think we got a whole gang of, like an array of different reports coming out the next 2 days, and I think the market might be apprehensive leading up to that. 10-year yield. Yeah, I'm sure it's down because of inflation data. But it is bouncing back here. So look at the 10-year yields. These tend to follow interest rates. So yeah, I still think the Fed's going to be hawkish, right? Like I still think the Fed is going to be hawkish. Yeah, like here's the CME watch tool. It hasn't changed much. It's still 97.3. But I think tomorrow's data will influence this more than today's. Here's the Fed rate hike. So you can kind of see we're still looking at 97% odds that we're going to pause, and then less than 3% odds that we're going to cut. All right, guys, I'm here. I'm sorry. My headphones died. So I'm trying to find... I had another pair somewhere. I mean, actually, I don't even think I need headphones right now. I think I'm good. Y'all can still hear the music. It should be fine. So let's see if the market bounces at the 200 exponential. What's today? Today is Tuesday. It's not trash day. Wait. Yeah, today's not trash day. What's the chances we give this entire move from data back? I don't know. I think we'll have choppiness probably today, right? We got 20 minutes until the market opens. I think we'll probably have choppiness today, but who knows? The data's already out, right? So the data, PPI inflation data came out already. Yeah, so we got PPI inflation data out. got PPI inflation data out. All right, so yeah, and CPI comes out tomorrow, so it's actually a pretty big release. All right, so let's see what else we got. Gold, okay, we got this. We got this. We got this. Yeah, CPI comes out tomorrow. It's a big release too, chat. It really is. What else we got? Yeah, I'm trying to find what else we got today, but we got that one. We got that. All right, one more. Get rid of this one. All right. All right, so sorry. All right, we're still breaking down here, and you can see our levels are actually holding surprisingly well here. So our levels are actually doing okay. Let me check back up in the chat. Dip at the open. I don't know. We've already gone up a little bit from inflation data. Yeah, inflation data came in low, like less than expected, which is good. I'd rather see it come in low than high. Yeah, I think tomorrow's report is more important. I thought we would break down. I didn't think we would hold from this. If you guys remember, I told you guys I was shorting, and I think it could break down some, and it did. And so I don't know what we're going to get. I just know tomorrow's report is much more important, and so I wouldn't necessarily I wouldn't want to get bullish and overzealous today, although it's possible. Like, it's possible we bounce, but who knows? I'm going to wait. We got about 17 minutes left until the opening bell, so we'll stick around and see how that goes. But yeah, I'm trying to be I'm trying to sit tight and wait, is what I mean. Dude, never ever use Busy or Ink File, dude. They will hit you with so many different charges that you didn't pay for, like, randomly. Like, oh, wait. I know what this is. It's not them. This isn't the one that's doing it. It's the
trying to see. How's the sound? Is the sound good? I know exactly what this is. So somebody's trying to charge one of my cards like $350 randomly, and I flagged it, and then my card's on hold. But I think I know exactly what it is. There was a long time ago where Carol, there's a long time ago where Carol bought this thing. You know those old, like those overnight news or those overnight advertisements that are in blue where they like, it's basically like late night advertisements. Well, she like bought this face cream from them, and I told her not to do it. I told her, I was like, do not buy this, and she got kind of sucked into it and bought it. And then she bought it once, bro. That company charged her card over and over and over again, refused to cancel it. Like, she had to basically get a whole new card from it. Well, that kind of just went on with me as well, where I signed up for this thing and it's been basically trying to hit my card. Luckily, when I signed up, I was skeptical of it, so I used the card I give my daughter, which has like a couple $100 on it regularly, right? So she can spend it. And so they're trying to charge that thing. And so I got lucky that I did it like this. And if I have to switch cards, that's fine. But yeah, man, just predatory, dude. Just predatory. And it's a civil issue. So like, they know you're not going to fight them with it. Like, you know. So they're just going to try to maximize how much they get like regularly from it. All right, so we're bouncing. We put in a double bottom there at 21, like 40 or so. Yeah, I think some of you guys are delayed if you're still talking about diamonds. Hit the live button next to the play button. You'll catch up. I got like my like 10th black eye this year. I don't know if y'all can see it from jiu-jitsu. Yeah, infomercials is what it is. All right, so now we're sideways. Right around the 200 exponential moving average. Like right around that spot. I don't know what card I used here though. I'm trying to make sure it's that card. Yeah, here it is. This is it right here. Okay, so I see the email I used. I need to shut them down, bro. Here it is. Let me hit him with the live chat. All right, guys, we got 12 minutes left. 12 minutes left. See, and they don't even let you cancel anything. All right, chat. We are rebounding back up. Let's see about 20. Let's see this support and resistance level. Look at this right here at 75, at 21.75. We are rejecting right at that level. Yeah, so I figured out what it was. Where's my drink? Yeah, so they're thinking about selling TT. We'll see if they do, man. I don't know. I think the president-elect is more pro social media than that, so I think I don't think that's gonna happen. I think the president-elect is more social media friendly than that. Now he used to not be, but I don't freaking know. All right, so we're rebounding. Look at that rejection. So this level held here. So like my resistance level worked. All right, so we are rejecting here. You know, we have this 2050 level basically right here, which is what this is. It's 2050. It's like a psychological level. It's also right around the 200 exponential moving average. So I'm trying to be patient. Okay, let me add a new payment method here. All right, so we're bouncing back up. Yeah, I'm not yelling at the lady. I just said I never signed up for this, and you all are trying to charge my card over and over again. It was never stated at checkout that you would charge me this much. Incredibly misleading, and I would like to cancel any charge on my card by this company, please. I'm just glad I figured it out, right? I'm just glad I figured it out. Because I didn't know where that charge was coming from. All right. Gold? Where's gold at today? How did gold react to all this? I'm sorry I'm not talking much, chat. My bad. Gold's down. Gold's down. So again, we'll see if this resistance level holds. we're still green from the inflation report, and we should be. I mean, it showed up lower than expected. The question is, does it hold now, though, is the big thing. That sounded like angry typing. I'm not really angry. I'm just hoping they get the point, which is like they need a freaking... All right, so we are back over that big support or resistance level. 350 is small time to you. It didn't actually go through. I disputed it because they never really told me about it. This is one of those companies that like they'll charge you for one thing, and then they've got all these secret like hidden fees that pop up, and they know what they're doing. Like they're making most of their money through these fees that they don't tell people about. And if you're dumb enough like I was to give them your card number, they're just going to go wild with it and claim it's legit and like charge up all this different stuff. And they know how misleading it is, but they also know most people are not going to fight them civilly over like a couple $100, right? And so that's where they make their real money, unfortunately. Just kind of scumbag companies. Yeah. All right, chat. Yeah, I mean, inflation for core, which excludes food and energy, showed up at 0. I believe, right? Didn't it? Let me see. Yeah, core PPI showed up at 0, noticeably lower than the 0.2% last time. So better inflation than last time. Last time core PPI, which a lot of people are going to find more important. I don't necessarily, but it's still relevant. Core PPI showed up at 0% versus 0.2% last time. Regular PPI showed up lower than last time as well. 0.4% was what it showed up at last time versus 0.2% this time. So it's slowing for sure. I mean, it's always going to be higher because prices rise over time, right? Prices almost never go down. And so I don't think that's a reasonable lens to look at it under, because prices are going to go up regardless. But if we could slow the rate of increase, then that's a win. And I think that's why the market's up from it. Even though this is the lesser important PPI report versus CPI. CPI drops tomorrow, though. Yeah, I'm gonna have to switch phone numbers pretty soon anyway, dude. Like, there have been a couple people who, you know, you kind of have these relationships with people and they fall out, right? Like, and you know, like, I don't even like think about it that much, but apparently some of them gave my phone number to like obvious scammers and spammers, right? And I never even open the email. I immediately flag it. Like, I'm not I'm not the type that's gonna fall for anything like that. But they do it anyway, and like it's just a small inconvenience. I'm gonna have to change my phone number pretty soon. Does positive PPI lead to positive CPR tomorrow? Not necessarily. Sometimes we get low PPI, high CPI, and vice versa. So it doesn't necessarily equal a super easy correlation. Same with payrolls. Sometimes we'll get prelim payrolls way lower than expected, and the actual non-farm payrolls show up way higher. So it's not always easy to gauge it like that, especially with CPI and PPI, I would say. Let me see if they're actually canceling my order. Well, the problem is that the people that gave it out were like kind of friends. They were kind of like newer friends that are super interested in, like, I should have known, right? Like, some of the starts of the relationship were like business related, you know. And one of them had been booted out of like a previous YouTube channel. Hey, there's the opening bell. So like, I should have seen the signs already. Usually he's the common denominator, so I should have seen the signs. But super micro up to 32s. Market's starting to drop pretty heavily from this. I'm going to put the SPY up, and then I'm going to put up NVIDIA here as well. There's NVIDIA. Here's the SPY underneath it. So some red action right now. Your opinion on gold? Long-term gold's fine. Short-term it can be risky just because, you know. I'm going to wait a couple minutes left after the open. All right, chat. So we are moving up with super micro semiconductors. I'm talking to the representative. So they get through. They're like, would you like us to cancel? I'm like, sure. And then they go, I do appreciate your confirmation and respect your decision. Since we don't have the option to complete a cancellation request through chat, a representative will reach out to you through your phone number. Oh, dude, why do we have this conversation? I told her, honestly, I said, to be honest, this is intentional by the company you work for to make it even more difficult to cancel. Seems predatory and unethical, but sure, please have someone call me as soon as they can. Anyways, market's rejecting the 200 exponential. Terrible companies, man. This is horrible. Oh. What a terrible company, to be honest. All right, so we're down a little bit now. I'm going to wait a couple more minutes. At least it's distracting me in the first 5. Yeah. All right, so now we're rebounding all the way back up here. I'm watching NVIDIA very closely. I'm going to short into this support or this resistance level that we have here. We'll cover that quickly. A little $150 gain. Dude, I just can't believe I can't cancel this normally. They're going to keep trying to charge me. When's Martin Luther King Day? Let me see. Oh, it's Monday. It's inauguration day. Futures close at early at 12 Central, 1 o'clock Eastern. Interesting. All right, so we are ripping over this level here. Although Nvidia is kind of looking weak, I'm going to short. Nvidia's flushing down too, so I'm going to add to this and take our little risk at the opening bell. There we go. We ended up coming out flat or so on that trade, give or take. Still up 550 on the day. I'm gonna short again, big short, not the movie. And then maybe add some to this too. All right, so we have 5 contracts here, very large position. We're very green now on this. Somehow we made money there, but not as much as we wanted. We're now up 7. Nvidia's still looking weak is why I'm shorting it, but like I think a new level might be right here. All right, we got 3 contracts. All right, we're out of that now too. Yeah, no, so I'm in the combine. Yeah, so I'm trying to trade the combine. I'll trade the funded account after 10 minutes pass because I can read the market a little bit better once that happens. I'm gonna short this too. All right, we got 4 contracts now. See, now we're down big here. Almost green. Whew. Somehow we made a chunk of money there. Look at that. That's $500, $600, $700 just now. Where are we at now? Okay, we need like a little baby amount more. I'm gonna switch to micros, and then we're gonna switch to our funded account as well. Short here. We'll start to add to a short position. We need like $100 or less right now to hit our target on the day. And so we'll just play around with this 5 contracts. Here we go. Give it a little bit. Take a long-term trade. We'll use this resistance level up here as our risk asset. Oof. Yeah. We got pretty close to it, but we'll cut that right there. So we lost like $70 or so. Now we got to make a couple hundred, but we'll be all right. Look at Nvidia start to run. This is the only problem right now, is that Nvidia is starting to run. So we're going to pivot to a long base system now. If we get a pullback, we'll buy it, but we got to wait for that, I think, now too. Look at Nvidia. It's up there at the top. We could have chop today as well, though, guys. Like, we could have choppiness. All right, so we got 6 contracts here. Oof. Well, that wasn't good. We ended up losing a couple hundred there. So we're still up over 1,000 on the day. That's a big turnaround, though. It depends on whether Nvidia holds this EMA. We'll We'll see if we can short into this now. Man, this last minute of price action, I'm sure it's eaten so many accounts right now. Like, look at that price action, dude. That's such a huge candle wick up and down in like 30 seconds. Sheesh, dude. We're still up 1,000, right? But man, luckily I'm trading micros here because that thing was crazy. I'm gonna get out of this. I don't like this recent price action at all. Look at this price action. I'm trying to see if there's any news. Boeing exec says they see about 5-year timescale for jet market to get back to supply-demand balance. Speaker Johnson said he wants to extend the debt limit for the entirety of the next president's election or presidency, but says it would be costly, meaning Yeah, Smurf, man, you seem to be kind of emotional, brother. He says I'm an unknown YouTube streamer. I mean, dude, we got 800 people watching me, brother. You know, I'm not saying that's like the greatest ever. It's definitely top 3, but you know, I mean, let's see how many views today's stream got. We got about 15,000 viewers today. I mean, I'm not saying it's unknown. You know, I'm not saying I'm like the most popular streamer ever. But don't be desperate, bro. You just seem emotional over there, Smurf. Good day to you, sir. Yeah, 153,000 subs. I mean, it's not bad. It's not the most popular ever, but hey. My guy Smurf over there is mad. The market's up today. That's what it is. Let's see if I can win back my original. Until I can start doing better, I'll try to take 3 contracts here. Micro contracts, though. We're not going to take big contracts here, too. I just don't trust it. I think the bullish side has too much momentum right now, too, so. Man. This opening bell's been tough, dude. It really has. Like, I think Nvidia is a little bit unknown looking right now. I mean, the good thing, though, guys, is like, look, we had this, but let me go to the next page. But we mostly made money today. Like, we're still up almost 1,000 on this one. Luckily, we switched to micro contracts, though, because the bull side was a lot stronger than I thought it would be. And look at this. We're starting to push up more. Why is he upset? He seems emotional. Yeah, because he's telling people the market's going to crash right now and the market's breaking highs. Not lifetime highs, but highs of recent memory. All right, I'm going to jump on short, and we're going to start swinging a little bit heavier now. We got a big cushion that we can use on the day, and so we will add to our winners if we get in one, and maybe add some in general here. So there's 6 contracts short. So if we break down some more here. We got a nice little range. The market's been a little sketchy today, though, guys. I would be careful. We're flat now. Now we're green again. There we go. I will take that and then see if we could short into this now too. There we go. Another piece. Go ahead and cut the rest there. That seems like a reasonable spot to cut it. Yeah. I really like this resistance level, this confirmation level here. I'm gonna short into this big green action too because Nvidia is breaking down. We might be a flat on the day though, but I'll take my swing for the fences here, I think. We got 9 contracts, micros. And then I'll add one more piece to it. It's a very risky bet, but Nvidia looked really weak. There we go. That's a big flush. I'm going to take a piece of this off just to protect it. I'd rather liquidate a piece of this just in case. Nvidia's still looking weak. Hold on, let me add to this. 12, 15. We'll take 5 contract increments. There we go. Boom. Boom. All right. Out. Okay, cool. We just made a bunch. Yep. We need $200 now to hit our target. So in a setback, Nvidia and AI chip makers are facing challenges as its top customers delay orders for its Blackwell chips due to, or Blackwell racks due to overheating issues, according to the information. Reports started that the first shipments of these racks are overheating and encountering glitches. Didn't this news come out not that long ago, though? So I heard about this news story not that long ago. Like a couple months ago, I mean. Yeah, so shout out to whoever told me that it was the law now that I should be able to cancel in one click. Because basically that's what I told the customer service rep. I said, isn't it the law now that I'm supposed to be able to cancel any subscription in one click? And they said, oh, hold on, let me see if we can expedite this process now. And now they're saying, oh, we truly, this is what they said, quote, I truly appreciate your utmost patience and understanding about this matter. We can go ahead and cancel all of the active subscriptions that you have on your account. Please bear with me for a while as I complete this cancellation. Thank you. So, hey, they might be doing something wrong here. There's a breakdown here, guys. So again, I think we could get choppiness though today. So I wouldn't be shocked to see choppiness. Yeah, so it's a new, so I'm not saying that you were wrong, Pawn, about the news article. I'm saying that I think this is like they're kind of using something else, but this must be a recent thing with orders, I'm guessing, for Nvidia. And again, there goes the market turning here on this chip report. So that's probably Pawn's news source is probably why, or Pawn's news article that he just sent and that I just talked about is probably why the market's dropping like it is. Interesting. I'm just glad I don't have to talk to this company online. I'm still bearish here though, but I'll see if we get a pop. I'll see if I need $200 now. And so I'm going to start lowering my size a lot. Really, if I get $100, I'm pretty much there. All right, so we're short 3 contracts. I will add a little bit to this if we pop up. There we go. We got 6. That's it. I'm not going to add more than 6. Ugh, dude. I took a third off and now I just got to cut it. So we're kind of going back and forth at this last little level here. We're trying to fix this trade. There we go. Flush. Flush. There we go. Kind of going back and forth. Took a big chunk of that off now too. Ooh. All right, so yeah, we only need about 300 out again. So all right, now I can leave. Let me take a picture of this so that they can't try to like. Let me take a picture of the whole page actually. Alright, we are done. Let me exit out of this. Alright, chat. Also, again, if you haven't already, try out Top Step. Top Step gives you a demo. They test your skill with a demo account first. You pass the test, they fund you. You fail, you only lose what you pay for it. In this case, it's a tiny amount. It's $50 a month. If you pass it, you get a 50K funded account with a 90% split. If you fail it, you only lose $50. Great way to learn how to trade. You're risking something. You're just not risking the full extent of a live account. Like most day traders fund thousands in a live account, and when they fail, they lose thousands of dollars, right? This is a much cheaper way to learn. A lot cheaper to learn here than to fund your own account, like doing all kind of other stuff. And you see, it's very similar to day trading stocks. We're now out of that position here where we just made some more. Very similar to day trading stocks. No PDT rule in futures. They give you a 50K demo. On the base one, you got to make 3K in profit without losing 2K first, following their rules and conditions. If you do it successfully, they fund you. They've paid out almost $200 million in the last 4 years. They fund thousands of traders. They've been around for over 12 years. And the huge edge is that I can trade micros with zero commission. So I can make 19, 8, 3, 13, 150 and still net profit a lot of the time using this. And so it's a great way to learn how to day trade. They are an affiliate of mine, so I'm definitely one of the top 3 most biased traders of all time ever in the world, but it's genuinely useful for traders. And if you want to check it out, there's the link. Great way to help support your boy here in this channel. There's the link right there. Just incredibly useful for traders, right? Because it limits your risk, teaches you how to trade. You get to keep your first 10K in profit once you're funded, and there's a 90% split afterwards. So it's just the best of both worlds. But understand CFTC 4.41, I do trade off stream. Sometimes I lose off stream. You're not going to see all my trades. Not an investment professional. Understand all this stuff right here, guys, because I have no freaking idea what I'm talking about. With that said, though, guys, we are almost there here. We're almost there. Very choppy, very flat. I'm going to start buying stuff now, though, I think. I'm going to start buying dips. So we're going to pivot to a long base strategy now. There's 3 contracts. 6 contracts here. Oh, no, don't do it to me. Wow. All right, so we just added 10 contracts here. Somehow we got out close to green here. I only do that on my actual live account, or on my actual combine account. I would never do that on a live. I'd try not to do it on a live account. Man, what a dip. All right. Sheesh, dude. Yeah, there's the rebound I wanted to. Oh, dude, I was just about to buy that. All right, so we're gonna add 10 contracts here, see if we can scalp like some movement here. 7. Took a huge chunk of this off. 4 contracts. Now 1 contract. Now. All right. I'll try to do that again. If I can time it right, I think we're gonna do all right. But I gotta time it right. All right, there. We're gonna time it here. 10 contracts. Oof. Sheesh, dude, what a drop. That was like some of the top 3 worst timing trades of all time, dude. Look at this drop. Whew. I'm gonna cut most of it there because I have to, I think. What a drop right when I decided to buy it, dude. That was one of the biggest candles of the day, and it was literally exactly when I chose to buy it, bro. Man, I can only laugh at these trades, dude. I only ended up losing like $200 here, which could have been, to be honest, so much worse. And now look at this retracement, dude. Now it's only like $100. Sheesh. All right, I'm gonna switch to my live account here, chat. Yeah, we're gonna switch to our live account. Oh wait, this is the wrong one. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, I gotta switch to my live account. I gotta be small though, because like I'm not really having the best results. Could have paid the subscription. Yeah, for sure. You're right. Think about it. If the CPI tomorrow is better than expected, yeah, we might run. If so, I mean, yeah, that's possible for sure. All right, guys. Look at that support level hold, though, bro. We drew that support level. Look at that thing hold. All right, so I was gonna buy this, but I think we could have some rebounds. We're so red right now. I don't like shorting it or going long. There's some days where I just don't want to trade. I'm gonna buy this, see if we retrace back up there. All right, so there's $15 in profit. Very quick. I thought we might retrace. So we're breaking down a little bit here. We got a small cushion. Depends on whether you think Nvidia is going to keep flushing, right? That's a big if. It's already down a lot. Right, we're going to buy this. Kind of a risky time to buy, but we already got a cushion on the day. We might add a little bit more to this too. See if we retrace back up there and pop up quick. Take some of these shorts out is what we're looking for. I'm going to unload half of this here and see if I can get a longer term long trade. So we're kind of flat on the day now. Down slightly, I think. I want to take a longer term trade, but I don't want to risk too much. And I think Nvidia could bounce here. We're up a little bit, but who freaking knows? We did have good inflation data, and so that makes me think we could have choppiness, but the Nvidia news is kind of putting a cork in things, unfortunately. Sheesh. I don't mind losing my green streak today as long as my loss isn't huge. I'm gonna cut this here. We are now down maybe like $30 or something small on the day. The The problem is that Nvidia continues to flush. It's about to hit the previous close, like the red to green level, but I don't trust this enough to attack it. Let me draw a level here, though, on this level. That seems like a spot. All right, so we're going to try to catch another reversal play, but we're not really liking this. I'd love to see a reversal up here, but it depends on whether Nvidia can hold support at the previous closing price, which is really not looking like. A little bit of a retracement. I'm going to use that opportunity to limit my loss and cut a piece of this here, and then we'll just figure out what we want to do on the rest. There we go. I just made a $30 gain there, so we're pretty much flat on the day. I think we're down less than $20 now. All right, we're gonna buy this again. Another little $15, $10 gain. So we're almost green on the day. I think I got to make that fight back for it. I like up to here, but that's it. I don't know what we're going to do on the rest of it. Nvidia right at that previous close. SPY bouncing back some. We're still slightly green on the day for a lot of different things too. I think up here makes sense. We're going to try to make green on the day. We're basically flat on our funded account. Yeah, so we're hitting that level. There we go. Look at that green. So I should have stayed with my long, but it's all right. We made enough to be happy about it. It just depends on what Nvidia is going to do here, though. We got a long way to bounce back, too. I'm going to jump in this long because we have that support level underneath us that hopefully will hold. All right, made a little bit back. We're complete flat on the day. All right, so we're starting to rebound back up. We need a little bitty piece of green. I'll short this though. It's like a scalping position. All right. We're green on the day now. 8 cents. All right, now we're green, $10. Whew. I think I'm just going to cut it, guys. I don't like this price action. I don't think it's easy to trade. I think it's incredibly difficult to trade. This is our 7th green day in a row, though. So just to show you our stats in this account. You know, this is our 7th green day in a row. Small green day nonetheless. Very small, of course. But here is me since, yeah, like we've done pretty good. It's a tiny green day, but like here's my stats. Most of January. So we've got our system really down, honestly. As long as like we can avoid bad days, you know, I think like when we're on big green streaks like this, you know, we set our max loss per day at like $150 to $200. That means we retain most of the winning trades that we're doing, or the winning days that we're doing. That's about like retention more than anything, because I think one of the things that I have a tendency to do, and I know a lot of other traders do as well, is like when they go on green streaks like this, right? In order to save themselves from finally having a red day, they kind of swing for the fences trying to win back their losses on losing days, right? And I think Top Step's lockout feature is incredibly valuable in that regard. You set it before the day even starts. So you set it before the day even starts when I'm on big green streaks especially, so I can basically lock myself out. If we break $200 in losses, it liquidates and blocks any trades I'm in, and so I don't end up losing. And I think that's a powerful thing, right? That's a powerful thing, because that means that like I have retention in my gains and my winning days. Like all these good days that I've had, I can retain those days without losing too much, if that makes sense, right? So here's my profit graph so far, most of this month at least. Here's my profit graph just to show you guys this. Doing pretty good so far. Slow and steady. We will scale up if we can, but slow and steady. There's my graph. So we're doing good. We're doing good. We'll see if it continues. Again, if you want to day trade with me, check out Top Step. Yeah, I could buy a Big Mac. I don't know. Big Macs are kind of expensive right now. I could definitely buy a Happy Meal, I think, for that. You know, so cheers to me, bro. Listen, top 3 best Happy Meal traders in the world right now. That's a name right there. But no, I'm going to get out because I don't like the market right now. The market's kind of flat, boring. CPI comes out tomorrow. I just don't like the market right now. Some days I'm not meant to trade. And so if I can get green today and ride out, like that's fine. You can see most of the time I'm making more than this, right? If you look at my stats behind it, like, you know, most of the time I'm making more than this. You know, this is today right here, right? So most of the time I'm making anywhere between like $50 and $100. Trade small. I'm not really worried about looking cool on the internet. My channel's called Beginner Trading, so I mean, hey. But again, if you want to check out Top Step, here's the link. Great way to learn how to day trade, and if you're good enough, great way to get started for less. You can get started low startup cost. Remember, I'm biased. All right, top 3 most biased ever. This is one of the top 3 best disclaimers and plugs of all time ever in the world. Understand all these rules, guys. The big edge on Top Step is that on Top Step X, there's 0 commission, right? 0 commission, no PDT roll in futures. You can day trade the S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the Russell if you want, like gold. You can trade some currencies, very similar to day trading stocks. No PDT roll. Just a great way to learn how to day trade. And the 0 commission thing really caps it off in futures. One of the biggest edges in futures right now. But hey, I love you all. Y'all have a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. CPI inflation data tomorrow, chat. CPI inflation data tomorrow. So a monstrous day for markets. A monstrous day for markets. And yeah, y'all be good. Y'all be safe. Crazy day. I love y'all. Y'all have a good one. I'll see you guys later.